sort of melodic thing into it. You know, I was very punkified. He didn't have any time for pop music, or, you know, he wasn't at all interested in it. He loved the Beach Boys and ABBA. But the agenda was the same, and when we played together, it was this Pretender sound, and we both loved it so much that there was, like, no denying it, and we completely needed each other to create this sound.
Chrissie Hynde had found her band, and found her place. Brass in Pocket went to #1 in the UK. So did their first album. Rolling Stone magazine named it one of the most brilliant debut releases in rock. Chrissie's straight-ahead, angry lyrics, combined with Honeyman-Scott's refreshing melodies and edgy guitar, gave audiences something they had never heard before.
I got pretty good. Changing tires, upstairs, bro. I shot my mouth off and you showed me what that hole was for. Now.
The Pretenders were the hottest new band in rock. It was everything they ever dreamed of, and it would tear their lives apart.
You are that.
1976, New York City. A man approaches the home of a lifelong friend. For several years, their relationship has been filled with bitterness. They rarely speak. Their breakup legendary. The two of them together had changed the world, and the world wants them to reunite. He's ready.
It's been very much their year for the Pretenders. They started off with a #1 single and album, and in America, well, they're never off the radio.
In 1980, Ronald Reagan was elected the 40th President of the United States. John Lennon was shot, and the Pretenders rode a wave of success following the release of their first album. The group embarked upon its first tour of the U.S. It was a thrilling ride, especially for the three boys from Hereford, who had only dreamed of the land of Elvis Presley.
I think Rod Stewart once said, there's nothing quite like traveling around the world with your mates. Yeah, I remember sitting in the van and hearing the kid on the radio, you know, and he's like, you know, well, more beer.
But their overnight success and non-stop schedule made them all a little crazy.
It's kind of obvious that I don't want you taking my pictures, so you can please go off with your cameras, all right?
Under enormous stress, the romance between Chrissie and Pete Thornton was unraveling.
He called me when we first got to America. And he said, look, I don't think I can do this. And it's just, you know, all this effort to get here over the years, and now we're here, and you say you don't want to do it. So in a way, I kind of put the gun to his head and said, look, man, you've got to do this. Pete didn't handle it very well, I don't think.
You've made a desperate appeal, now save your breath.
Pete handled the stress the way the rest of the band did, with drugs and alcohol. Martin and Jimmy were drinking gin and tonic for breakfast. Chrissie was veering out of control. In April of 1980, Chrissie had a run-in with a bouncer in a bar in Memphis. She was arrested and kicked out the windows of the police car. The tour pressed on, and the band got wilder. Old friends showed up to party, but the relentless tour schedule was wearing on everyone. Between sets in Denver, Martin Chambers collapsed from exhaustion.
We were working very hard. I think too little sleep and too much of a good time. The last thing I wanted to do was stop, even though we was exhausted. But at 27 or whatever I was then, you can recover pretty damn quick.
Thank you. Thanks to Steve Johns on guitar. Thanks so much.
During the tour, Chrissie met her teenage idol, Ray Davies of the Kinks. They began a relationship which added to the chaos. Ray was married, and the band felt that Chrissy's involvement with him was getting in the way of the music.
I'm the adulteress. I didn't want to be. He didn't get along very well with my band. Like him and Jimmy had some punch-ups after shows and stuff. Yeah, no, there were some pretty bad scenes there. Really bad. And, Pete didn't like it. Me with Ray, that upset him. That's my mystery. I'm the adulteress.
It had been a year since the Pretenders' first album debuted. The pressure was mounting for a follow-up. After only 3 months of recording, the band released Pretenders 2 in August of 1981. Without taking a break, they headed straight back out on the road for a massive world tour.
When people make the first record, it's like 10 years worth of writing. You've got all that time before you get the big record deal and the big American tour or whatever to write enough material for an album. For the second album, you got 3 months.
You've changed. Your place in this world.
While their fame was spreading, the band was consumed with internal bickering.
It's a lot for me. It's got to do with him. Chris. Why don't you get a heavy metal singer then? Or join a heavy metal band or something? It's not a problem.
Chrissy's romance with Ray Davies was wearing on Pete Farnham, who was by now fighting a losing battle with heroin.
You don't listen to the asshole. He really wanted to live the life and look the part. And he was very impressed with people shooting up and stuff. He thought that was, authentic. I didn't praise him very much, and, actually I could reduce him to tears pretty easily. But I'm not going to dwell on and get all sentimental about it. I don't blame myself for his demise. He bought into the wrong things. Maybe I wasn't as kind as I could have been sometimes.
The Pretenders' second tour was even more raucous than the first.
Danny, you mother listen to me out there? I said, now where the hell do I get a turning blood thing, damn it?
Chrissy distanced herself from the rock and roll lifestyle, while she watched her bandmates sink further into it. She blamed their problems on groupies who used drugs to get backstage.
And it used to really piss me off that these people would get backstage using the cocaine as their calling card. Because, my band were like just little hookers, they'd anything. They'd let anyone back if they thought there were drugs involved. Because, these guys still had, corn in their ears and stuff, from Hereford. They couldn't believe their luck.
Despite their fast-track life on the road, all the Pretenders made wedding plans between 1981 and 82. Jimmy Scott wed Peggy Sue Fender in April. Martin married Tracy Atkinson. And Pete Farnham married a model he had barely known for 2 weeks. For Chrissy and Ray, marriage would only be a close call.
So he wanted to take a train and I wanted to take a cab because I had my nice stuff on and everything. So that's the first fight. And then I had a friend who lived on the next street. And I said, hey, maybe he could come over and take some pictures. So he didn't want anyone there, so that was the next fight. And then I knew he hadn't bought a wedding ring, so that wound me up. And then we got there, and I don't know what we were fighting about. I was crying and stuff, and the guy said, look, why don't you guys wait till you find some witnesses and come back? In other words, he didn't even want to marry us, because we were such sad characters, really. And then we went out, and I said something horrible to him. And he threw my train ticket down on the floor and just took off running. And then everything was fine by that evening. And that was how we lived for 4 years.
At the end of the tour, the band was fed up with Pete Farnham. On one of the last nights on the road, he punched out an old man who asked him not to smoke. It was clear that the band needed a break. By the spring of '82, the Pretenders had been working non-stop for over 3 years. They returned home to London exhausted. None of them dreamed that they had just played their last show.